if Right to Dream, with its limited resources, can start stepping into those quantums of money that as a national strategy is very easy within a short period of time to achieve those types of returns. So what do I see? I think that the starting point is to develop a national talent identification strategy, but also a global talent identification strategy. You know, we lose a lot of our sons and daughters of Ghana to other countries' national teams. So we need to start with the identification of our youth. But beyond that, I believe that we can be much more proactive in recruiting the most talented Ghanaians in the diaspora. Secondly is to establish a public-private partnership talent development free zone, or as in America, you might call it an opportunity zone. These are tax incentivized regions of the country. We know this very well in the agri sector with our free zones within Ghana, but I think there's the potential for a talent free zone or a talent opportunity zone that can actually make investment into Ghana talent much more compelling from a tax incentives perspective. And then thirdly, to establish a public-private partnership for a national sports and entertainment hub. The Minister mentioned some of the most exciting countries, but another that has really excelled in entertainment in sports in Africa in the last few years is Rwanda, where we've seen so many of the best sports events on the continent going to a country which has no reputation until very recently within sports. So I think a hub for sports entertainment is also very possible. So if we talk about talent ID and development, how would I approach that? Through the formation of the Talent Identification and Development Corporation that would remain firmly in control of the government of Ghana, you would define the national framework, as the Minister mentioned, through which all talent identification and development partnerships would be operated. And this, I think, is a crucial point, because when people talk about attracting investment into Ghana sports, if we take football specifically, we haven't struggled to attract investment, we've struggled to retain it. Ajax Feyenoord and Red Bull combined probably invested 100 million euros into their academies in Ghana, and they've all left. And one of the reasons that they've left is because there was no coherent national framework for them to plug into. So they came and did their own thing with very little advice, with very little guidance and support, and as a result, we've lost them, and they could have been significant contributors to the national agenda. My starting point would be through artificial intelligence solutions, which I believe should be embraced very quickly within talent identification, is to assess the individual talents of each of Ghana's 800,000 12-year-olds today. You know, we have a role model in China, I think, here, that when they got the Olympics in 2008, started a national talent identification many years before to assess the individual talent of every child in China. And I think it's quite feasible for us to do the same. And then I would propose that the best 800 across a multi-sports solution come into a Ghana talent free zone, a Ghana talent opportunity zone that has multiple incentive structures for local and foreign partners to invest into this free zone, to develop the 800 best each year that we've identified through a national talent identification model. And then I think one of the big commercial opportunities for us is if we are trialing all of Ghana's 12-year-olds every year, how do we retain communication with those 800,000 children? At the moment, Facebook retain that communication, and Facebook derive all the revenues from communication with our children in Ghana. If we scout our kids in Ghana, why don't we retain communication with them and own our own digital assets that can communicate and develop our children rather than